The moment where words feel useless. You don't want to explain yourself, you don't want to convince anyone, and you don't want to perform emotionally just to be noticed. You want something deeper, something real, a connection where she invests, where she leans in, where she feels drawn to you without you having to speak, chase, or prove anything. And the truth is, this is not only possible, it's exactly how female psychology is designed. Women don't chase with their ears, they chase with their emotions. They chase with what they feel when they're around a man whose presence speaks louder than his words ever could. Because words create comfort, but presence creates desire. There is a kind of man who can make a woman chase him without ever confessing interest, without practicing lines, without relying on charm or cleverness. This man activates her curiosity through silence, her attraction through energy, her respect through boundaries, and her desire through emotional uncertainty. He is the opposite of the man who tries too hard, the opposite of the man who explains, the opposite of the man who confesses every emotion hoping to earn closeness. This kind of man is powerful because he is rare. Most men chase with their mouths, talking too much, revealing too much, offering too much. They try to compensate for lack of confidence with over-communication. They try to fill every silence with validation, hoping she notices their effort. But women don't fall for words. They fall for what the man's silence reveals about him. A woman becomes intrigued by the man who does not rush. She becomes curious about the man who holds himself together. She becomes fascinated by the man who doesn't need to impress. She becomes attracted to the man who creates emotional contrast without forcing anything. Your energy is your first language. Your silence is your second. Your boundaries are your third. Your actions are your fourth. And your words, if needed at all, come last. This is how you become the man she thinks about when she's alone, the man she analyzes, the man she can't read easily, the man she wonders about, the man who stays in her mind when other men disappear instantly. A woman chases the man who makes her feel something unfamiliar, not chaos, but calm mystery, not arrogance, but quiet confidence, not emotional distance, but controlled presence. You don't need to speak to create attraction. You need to embody the version of yourself that women cannot categorize quickly, because once she cannot categorize you, she cannot forget you. And once she cannot forget you, the chase begins. Before we start, a quick reminder. The real transformation doesn't happen on YouTube. It happens inside the community. If these videos have opened your eyes, what's inside will rebuild your mindset completely. It's not just a course, it's a brotherhood. A private space where men master attraction, emotional control, and the psychology of power. You don't join for a month, you join for life. Every future course, book, and lesson is yours forever. No subscriptions, no limits, just one decision that changes your direction. If you're serious about growth, discipline, and purpose, click the link below, join the community. Enroll once, grow forever. Let's dive in. Section 1. The silent signal of self-control. The first and most powerful reason a woman begins to chase a man without him saying a single word is because she senses something extremely rare in him: self-control. Not the fake kind, not the forced kind, not the kind rooted in fear or insecurity, but the kind of self-control that comes from inner strength. This is the type of man who does not reveal everything he feels simply because he feels it, who does not rush forward simply because he is attracted, and who does not collapse into pursuit simply because she showed him a little bit of interest. A woman instantly recognizes when a man is guided by impulse. The man who reacts quickly, who rushes to text, who tries to impress, who needs attention to feel secure. These kinds of men are everywhere, and their predictability kills attraction. She doesn't have to think about them, she doesn't have to wonder, she doesn't have to imagine what they're doing or how they feel. They are emotionally loud, always available, and easy to understand. And because they are easy to understand, they are easy to forget. But the man with self-control is different. He is present but disciplined, interested but composed, attracted but patient. He doesn't deny what he feels, but he refuses to let those feelings turn him into a reactive version of himself. His silence is not emptiness, it is restraint. His stillness is not weakness, it is power. His calmness is not disinterest, it is emotional mastery. This level of self-control is magnetic to women because it forces her to experience something she rarely feels with men: curiosity. Curiosity is the birthplace of the chase. Curiosity is what makes her think. Curiosity is what makes her look again. Curiosity is what makes her start questioning her assumptions. Curiosity is what makes her wonder, why isn't he reacting like the others? Why isn't he rushing? Why doesn't he try to impress me? Why can't I read him? Why do I feel something around him without him even speaking? Self-control makes your presence feel different. It gives you weight, depth, and mystery. It shows that your desires don't control you. You control your desires. This is what separates you from the men who chase. This is what makes her look at you with respect instead of expectation. This is what makes her feel your masculine energy without you needing to announce it. This is what makes your silence louder than another man's words. Most men reveal their entire emotional world the moment they feel attraction. You reveal nothing. Not because you're playing a game, but because you honor yourself enough not to spill everything at once. You don't chase what hasn't shown consistency. You don't reward what hasn't shown effort. You don't impress someone who hasn't impressed you back. This is the foundation of high-value masculinity. A woman begins to chase the man who has mastered self-control because his energy feels like a challenge, not a plea. He stands still when other men rush. He remains composed when other men collapse. He observes before he invests. He moves only when he chooses, not when he is triggered. And nothing makes a woman chase more than a man whose impulses don't own him. Section 2. The magnetic effect of emotional mystery. There is a unique force inside female psychology that is rarely discussed openly, yet it dictates the vast majority of a woman's attraction patterns. Women are drawn toward emotional mystery, not emotional transparency. When a man reveals too much too quickly, she feels safe but not excited. She feels comfortable but not captivated. She feels flattered but not pulled in. But when a man leaves emotional space, silence, uncertainty, depth she cannot immediately interpret, that space becomes the playground of her imagination, and nothing is more powerful in attraction than a woman's imagination. Most men talk themselves out of attraction. They explain every thought, every feeling, every interest, every intention. They try to secure her attention through verbal reassurance. They try to make her feel comfortable by showing their entire emotional hand early. But comfort does not lead to chase. Curiosity does. The man who cannot be read instantly becomes the man she can't stop thinking about. He is not cold, but he is not overly warm. He is not distant, but he is not emotionally exposed. He is present, but not predictable. He gives enough attention to create connection, but not enough for her to feel certain. He offers moments of energy, but not a continuous stream that kills desire. This emotional mystery is not manipulation, it is psychological balance. It is the art of letting her discover you instead of forcing her to receive you. When a woman cannot categorize you, she becomes emotionally invested in understanding you. She looks for clues in your tone. She analyzes your pauses. She remembers your facial expressions. She wonders about what you don't say. She pays attention to your behavior more than your words. She studies your patterns, trying to figure out who you are beneath the calm surface. This curiosity triggers instinctive pursuit, because pursuit is not always physical. It begins mentally. A woman chases in her mind long before she chases in her actions. She wonders why you're not like the others. She wonders what you're thinking. She wonders where you stand. She wonders whether she has your interest or whether she's imagining it. And the more she wonders, the more invested she becomes. You don't create emotional mystery by pretending. You create it by being grounded, by not oversharing, by not rushing to please, by not forcing intensity, by having a life bigger than the interaction, by carrying a calm presence rooted in purpose. A man with emotional mystery makes her feel something rare, the desire to earn clarity. This flips the dynamic from her being the prize to the relationship itself being the prize. She begins showing more interest. She initiates conversations. She tries to read you through your subtle shifts. She invests time, focus, and emotion. She chases understanding. And in chasing understanding, she chases you. Women do not chase the man who lays everything out. They chase the man whose depth reveals itself layer by layer, moment by moment, naturally without him forcing anything. Mystery is not lack of emotion, it is controlled emotion. Most men move through the world with restless energy. They fidget, they overtalk, they over-explain, they chase reactions. Their energy is scattered, seeking validation, needing reassurance. A woman senses this instantly and instinctively knows these men are ruled by their emotions, not in control of them. But the man with gravity moves differently. His presence is calm, spacious, unhurried. He is not performing or projecting. He is not trying to impress or persuade. He is simply there fully, completely without fragmentation. This signals something powerful to a woman's subconscious mind. This man is safe within himself. And when a man is safe within himself, a woman feels drawn toward him. Your presence expresses confidence without arrogance. It communicates desire without desperation. It reveals strength without force. It shows interest without attachment. It invites curiosity without pressure. It makes her feel feminine without you doing anything intentional. When you stand tall, breathe deeply, stay grounded, and carry yourself with intention, you create emotional contrast. Other men feel chaotic. You feel centered. Other men feel rushed, you feel patient. Other men feel loud, you feel steady. Other men feel needy, you feel complete. Women chase the man whose presence gives them something to feel, not something to think about. They chase the man who creates emotional safety by being emotionally stable. They chase the man who communicates desire with a glance instead of a flood of words. They chase the man whose stillness invites them to make the first move. They chase the man whose calmness challenges their expectations. They chase the man who feels like a mountain, not a wave. Presence is attraction without effort. It is communication without speaking. It is leadership without commanding. It is intimacy without explanation. When you embody presence, a woman begins to feel drawn toward you without understanding why. She becomes aware of your energy before she becomes aware of your words. She feels you before she knows you. And by the time she realizes she wants your attention, you've already created the emotional pull that triggers her pursuit. When your presence speaks louder than your voice, you become the man she chases. Not because you asked, not because you tried, but because you felt different from everyone else. Section 4. The power of selective attention. One of the most misunderstood truths in male-female dynamics is this: a woman does not chase the man who gives her all of his attention. She chases the man who gives his attention selectively, not randomly, not manipulatively, not in a cold or dismissive way, but with intention, discipline, and self-respect. Women respond more strongly to the attention they must earn than to the attention they are simply given. Men who give too much too soon without discernment remove the tension that makes attraction grow. Attention becomes abundance. Abundance becomes expectation. Expectation becomes boredom, and boredom destroys pursuit. But when you give your attention with purpose, when your interest is present but not constant, when your energy is warm but controlled, when your conversations are meaningful but not excessive, a woman feels something rare. Investment pressure. Not the negative kind, but the kind that inspires her to match your effort. Selective attention is not about withholding. It is about recognizing your attention as a valuable currency rather than something to spend recklessly. When you become intentional with your attention, 3 psychological shifts happen inside her. 1, she becomes more aware of your presence. She notices when you look at her and when you don't. She notices when you're engaged and when you're in your own world. She notices the shift in your energy because it's rare for a man not to drown her in validation. 2, she becomes more motivated to earn consistency. When attention is not guaranteed, she starts putting in effort to secure it. She texts first. She tries harder in conversation. She maintains eye contact longer. She becomes softer, warmer, more open because now she feels the need to win your focus instead of assuming it. 3, she begins to value your presence more. Scarcity creates value, not absence. Scarcity. Your attention becomes meaningful because you don't give it recklessly. Women admire the man who can balance interest with independence. Selective attention works because it sends a clear signal. I am interested, but I am not dependent. I'm present, but I have a life. I see you, but I also see my path. I like you, but I respect myself more. This is high-value masculine energy. A woman begins to chase because your attention feels earned, not automatic. Automatic attention is emotional sugar, sweet for a moment, then forgotten. Earned attention is emotional nourishment. She savors it, remembers it, and wants more. Most men try to win her by showing more interest. High-value men inspire her to chase by showing controlled interest. You are not afraid to pull back. You are not afraid to redirect your focus. You are not afraid to show her that your world is bigger than her. This doesn't create insecurity. It creates fascination. It doesn't create confusion. It creates respect. It doesn't create distance. It creates desire. Selective attention tells her she is not the center of your universe. She is the part of it you are evaluating. And when she feels evaluated instead of adored without reason, she steps forward. She invests. She chases because deep down every woman wants to feel chosen, but chosen by a man who chooses carefully. Section 5. The pull of emotional independence. There is a silent power inside a man that women sense instantly. Emotional independence, not emotional coldness, not emotional avoidance, but the quiet confidence of a man who is whole within himself. A man who can enjoy a woman's presence, but does not rely on her to feel valuable, centered, or alive. This emotional independence is one of the strongest forces that make a woman chase without you having to speak a word. Women can feel it the moment they meet you, whether your soul is grounded or whether you're searching for validation. Whether you're enjoying your own life or trying to escape it. Whether your happiness is self-generated or dependent on her response. Whether you stand firm alone or collapse the moment she gives you attention. The man who needs her will always move toward her. But the man who is complete will draw her toward him. Through their constant checking in, through their fear of silence, through their anxiety when she doesn't respond immediately, through their desire to be validated, chosen, approved, and reassured. This type of energy never creates a chase. It creates imbalance. It tells her she is the emotional center of his world, and no woman wants that responsibility. But the emotionally independent man, he is different. He is calm in his own company. He enjoys his life whether she is present or not. He cultivates purpose, growth, discipline, ambition, and vision. He wakes up for his goals, not her attention. He fills his time with meaningful pursuits, not waiting for messages. He chooses a woman from overflow, not from emptiness. This man does not chase because his world is already full. He doesn't need her to complete him. He doesn't need her to validate him. He doesn't need her to stabilize him. His joy is self-sourced. His confidence is self-generated. His identity is self-built. A woman senses this immediately, and it pulls her in like gravity. Emotional independence creates attraction because it communicates, I am a whole man if you join me. Good. If you leave, my life continues with strength and purpose. This terrifies low-value women, but inspires high-value women. She becomes curious about you because you are not emotionally hungry. She becomes drawn to you because you are not seeking approval. She becomes interested in you because your attention feels like a choice, not a plea. She begins to pursue you because choosing you means aligning with a man who is already rising, already stable, already in motion. Women do not chase men who place them at the center of their emotional world. They chase men who invite them into a world that already has structure, discipline, and direction. Emotional independence is not distance. It is balance. It is strength. It is masculine order. And when a woman feels your emotional independence, she cannot help but move closer because you become the man she wants, not the man she has to manage. Now that every layer of this psychology has unfolded, one truth rises above everything else. A woman chases the man whose silence carries more meaning than another man's words. Not because silence is a tactic, but because silence reveals what cannot be faked. Emotional strength, inner confidence, grounded masculinity, and self-respect. When a man embodies these qualities without announcing them, he becomes the type of man who activates a woman's imagination, her curiosity, her effort, and her desire. Words are cheap in today's world. Anyone can speak, anyone can text, anyone can flatter, but presence, calm, intentional, controlled presence is rare, and a man who leads with presence instead of performance stands out instantly. He becomes the emotional anchor in a world full of noise. He becomes the steady force in an age of instability. He becomes the grounded masculine energy that women crave on a subconscious level. Women don't want a man who convinces them. They want a man who makes them feel something. And feelings are born from energy, not admiration for words. Throughout this journey, you've seen how she reacts to emotional mystery, selective attention, self-control, disciplined presence, and masculine restraint. Each of these traits awakens a different part of her psychology: curiosity, admiration, fear of loss, pride, investment, and desire. Together, they form a magnetic pull that requires no verbal effort from you. The less you try to prove, the more she wants to discover. The less you try to impress, the more she becomes impressed. The less you chase, the more she becomes drawn toward you. This is the paradox of attraction that most men never learn. The more complete you are without her, the more she wants to be part of your world. When your life is full, not forcefully but naturally, she wants to join it. When your emotions are stable, not suppressed but grounded, she feels safe around you. When your attention is selective, not cold but intentional, she values it. When your silence is calm, not distant but controlled, she listens. When you move with purpose, not arrogance but confidence, she follows. A woman does not chase the man who tries to fill her emptiness. She chases the man whose life is already overflowing with direction. She does not chase the man who needs her presence to feel whole. She chases the man whose presence makes her feel something she can't find elsewhere. And here is the cold truth. When you become the man who doesn't speak to be seen, you become the man she sees without speaking. Your silence becomes influence. Your presence becomes gravity. Your discipline becomes attraction. Your calmness becomes her curiosity. Your self-mastery becomes her desire. Because in the end, the chase doesn't begin when you move toward her. It begins when she realizes you're the only man in the room who isn't trying to be chosen. You are choosing yourself. And a woman always chases the man who chooses himself first. Remember, knowledge means nothing without action. If you're ready to rise above emotion and lead with purpose, join the community today. We